Okay. Well, let's begin from the day one. Okay. So obviously, as you are aware of that, it's a very, very beginner class. Okay. And here I try to like introduce some of the sections very basically. Okay. I didn't go in depth for any topics. Like I try to introduce and try to make a familiar with the terminology and the things. Okay, so starting from the module one, we talked about the what is UX UI and what are the like differences and what are the roles that UX UI perform, and we see some of the case studies of some what do you call UX UI designer. I think I showed you so some of the case studies, right? And design principle also we talked about the like graphic design principle also basically few things like very very basic terminology we talked and UX design process also we talked and then research and analysis. So I introduced about the like conducting user research and how can we like create a fictional user persona and based on that how can we create the goal pain points, okay, and building a information architecture. So a very very basic terminology that we learn in this module one, sorry, module two, and then wireframing and the product. I think you missed the some of the section of wireframing and prototyping, right? But we talked about those things and created some very basic low fidelity wireframing and high fidelity mockups. But a very basic thing, okay? I didn't go in very depth because it's for absolute beginner, and I just wanted to introduce some of the terminology only so that you can get familiar and you can practice by yourself. So on that, next is I think on last class we talked about the some of the color schemes and how you can choose, okay. So I think typography is remaining or not. Oh yeah, I think typography is remaining. I will introduce today yourself, and we talked about the design system and UI kits. Okay, UI kits is just a simple what do you call collection of element that are that can be found in online wherever you can download. Like if you look for the UI kit, then you can download, and there are lots of plugins also in Figma. Okay, and these are things. And lastly, usability testing is here. I did started this usability test because we don't have a huge project. Because of that, I didn't introduce here. If you able to like share some of the your screen, then maybe we can talk about the what do you call usability test. Okay, so and Figma, obviously we create some of the wireframe and basic mockups in Figma. I give you a basic what do you call introduction regarding the Figma. Obviously this class is for absolute beginners, so I didn't go in deeper, but at least I tried to give you some kind of information in related with the component, how you can create a component and how you can swap. Like for example, if you are using a button that is let's say active button, and uh, you need to change active to let's say secondary button, then how you can swap. So here I introduce on that very basic, okay, and then I talked about the auto layout for basic CTA option. So there are lots of complex what do you call way of doing things, okay, using component and auto layout, and there are other variables also, but I didn't talk about those things in this class. Maybe later on we can discuss. And but for this class I just wanted to give a kind of a basic introduction, so that whether you are truly interested in course or not, maybe if you are truly interested, then you can go for the deeper level and you can understand in a better, and you can learn many things. So these are the things. And lastly, final project is depending on our project work that we started from the idea, and I assume that there are a few things remaining to do. Maybe you will do like in a later days. So these are the things basically we talked and we discussed. Okay. So yeah, in today's class, I think Tamil, you are on the only one. So there are no maybe other one to join. So I will give you the option. So if you have any confusion regarding any module, then you can ask. Okay.
Okay, sir. Actually, I'm good.
Mhm.
Miss some classes, so I'll check YouTube, and once I get doubts, I'll ask.
No worries about that. You can ask. And yeah, I will talk in offline. There are a few things that I wanted to talk. Okay, I will talk in offline. Okay, right now, but not in a class. Okay, there are a few other things that I wanted to discuss with every other students also. I'm planning
Okay.
something so that I want to discuss later. And overall, these are the things that I wanted to like give a basic introduction class, like intro or a kind of basic foundation for the UX UI design, so that anyone can, for example, if anyone interested, then they can like enter into the this UX UI design, because basically in a simple way we think it's very basic thing, okay, and normal and everyone can do. Yeah, in basically everyone can do, but there is a lot of things that you have to understand, and there are a lot of things that you have to do. And as a UX designer, for example, you have to be a very what do you call open minded and broad in any topics. For example, simply, I'm not like offending any programmer or a web developer, but as a UX UI designer, what you have to do is you have to be play a multiple role at the same time. Simply, let me give you one basic example. Let's say you are making a fintech app that may be used for the banking transaction, or banking sector, or maybe you are working with digital application like digital payment, any Google Pay or something, any other app that used for the digital payment. Okay, so when if as a UX UI designer, when you are creating some kind of user persona and creating your sitemap and trying to build something that looks like a real project, and you are trying to build a one by one, piece by piece, at the time what you have to do is you have to be a what do you call, a very vigilante and a very visionary person to look from the start to end, the all the process, what are the users, how they are going to use the app, and what will be the business model of that particular app, and how it will function from one page to another page, and what happens if there is any kind of misuse or error or anything, how you are going to give options to support the users when they are facing any problem, or how it will actually work, and what are the procedure, what are the steps from one step to second steps, each and every task and each and everything that you have to be aware of it. And beside that, if you are like same as the example of Google Pay is a fintech, like comes under the fintech, means financial what do you call transaction is there. So that, so you have to understand how actually fintech works, what are the processes, what is like basic understanding of debit and credit, how the transaction will work, okay, transaction is work, and how the banking sector is work. So how you can pull the amount from the one bank to how you can transfer into some other bank, and what are the charges will like apply for the transactions. If it is international, then how you can connect the dollar exchange or the currency exchange. So there are multiple variation on currency, mostly depending on like all the currency are mostly depending on the dollar. So you have to check and you have to understand those things, and then you can create a kind of app, or you can build a smooth transition or smooth flow from point 1A to point B or point 2 to, and then you can prove, or and then you can create a good user experience, because without understanding the user perspective, without understanding the technology, and without understanding the behind the process of any business model, that you cannot be a UX UI designer. As an average basic like general average UX UI designer you can be, okay, without knowing any basic understanding of any industry, that you can do like simply what we have to do. Simply, let's take an example of any app and go for the internet, try to search some kind of related ideas and inspiration and user interface, and then we can copy and we can use it as it is, or we can tweak like here and there, and we can make it okay. Everything is done. We can create that. It's a kind of average what you call UX UI designer does that. Okay, and if you want to really stand in the market, and if you want to really do good in the market, and you want to like be earn a good amount of money, then obviously you need to be a very what do you call research based and open minded, and you have to be really think out of the box. So think out of the box doesn't mean that going in a different area, or maybe or what exactly it means, or maybe there are multiple questions. So how I can be a like be think out of the box. So there are a lot of questions maybe that comes on your head, and maybe you can confuse. But thinking out of the box, or think out of the box, means it's just trying to think in the multiple ways. Just don't think like as a UX UI designer and how you can create user experience. Okay, how you can create a good user experience. What you can do is you can think from the perspective of one what do you call user, how they will use, okay, what actually they are looking for. And at the same time you can think from the perspective of banker or the product owner. So how they are looking for the like business. Okay, at the end of the day, like creating any kind of web application or websites or any mobile application is for the business. Okay, they wanted to earn some money. Okay, how you can create a business revenue with your like skills and experience as a UI designer. That so you have to think from the perspective of a product designer also, sorry, a product owner also. So how they can earn money from the app. So you have to think from that particular point also. And at the same time, you have to think like a developer. How developer will develop? How they will integrate the what do you call it, application, and how they will link. Let's take an example of again same fintech, and let's say there is one API. Have you ever hear about API, and do you have any idea about the API, Thamil?
Sir,
Do you
sorry,
have any idea about the API?
API. It's application program interface. Am I right?
I don't know the full form exactly, but could you like elaborate it so that I can understand what you actually mean?
So actually, I don't know much about it. I just know the like abbreviation, like application programming
Yeah, it's
interface.
application programming interface. Yes, the full form is right. Yeah, I don't know the full form. That's why I confused. Okay. Yeah, it's the full form is right. But what it actually do or does, do you know the like why we used API, and what is the use of API in mobile application or web application or website?
I think it's kind of sharing information between like applications or between systems, something like that. I don't know much about it. I just know this.
Yeah,
Maybe sharing information.
Yeah, you are on the right track, but you have to do a little bit in-depth research. Okay, so yeah, obviously you are in the like what do you call a beginner stage, so that it get confused. But yeah, you are on a right track, and there is a very basic and very simple example, and you can find the video on TikTok and any other sources also. So generally, while describing the API, most of the times people used a restaurant example. For example, you are going to order a food, and you are going on a restaurant and you want to order a food. So you will sit on a table, and waiter comes, and the waiter will ask, "What do you want?" And then waiter will note your request or not your food, so what you want to eat. And after that, the same waiter goes to the where safe and tell them to like these are the requirement that the customer want. And then once chef started cooking and once done the cooking, then again same waiter bring the food for the customer. So the activity like waiter does in restaurant, same does API in technology. Generally, take information from the user, okay, from the inputs, user inputs, and what they want and what we are looking for, and it collect all the data and send request to the server to okay, these are the information that this particular user want. So give me those information. Then the API will take those information from the server, and then it will show you on your application or browser or any other application. So this is basically, and it's very very easy and common example to understand, and it is quite what do you call it, easy to understand. It's very simple example that you can understand as a API. Okay. And yeah, I didn't know the full form because I didn't care about it. Just I know about the API, so how it works and what are the things. Okay, so why I'm talking about the API is basically that you need to understand the very common or very basic thing that how it can work like in the behind the scene. So UX UI designer is looking or in front job that people see your application and your interface that you designed, but people won't see the behind the process. Okay, that actually like done by the developer. Okay, but while designing or while creating any application, that you have to think, so how the function 1 to function 2 will work, and is there will be any validation or not. So if it is their validation, then how you will show the information for the customer. So they want like in generally in restaurant, there are lots of like the setup, like what do you call, interior designer is quite beautiful for to make them wait for the longer time, isn't it? If the interior looks very dull and there is nothing to entertain and there is like very plain things, then obviously customer doesn't want to wait and they feel very bored and they maybe want to move from that particular place. So it takes time to deliver the food. That is why the restaurant owner tried to make environment very beautiful with lots of what you call other things to distract the customer, so they won't notice their time. And likewise in what you call hypermarket also, there is no clock, there is no watch. Why? Uh, Generally they don't want to show you that you are wasting much time. Generally we don't watch on time or on clock or mobiles. Whenever we are going in the hypermarket or anything, we want to visit each and every rack as possible as we can. So likewise, when you are designing any application or where you are thinking as a user experience designer, then what you have to do is how you can show the information so that user might not notice that you are wasting their time. So they should feel they are enjoying while using any particular app. Likewise, what you have to do is you have to think likewise, and so that you can build actually a real good application that you uh, truly understand the user personas, user experience, and then you are playing with their emotion. So it works according like uh, it will give you a kind of flexibility to play around. And uh, obviously if you are like just designing a simple website, then there won't be a like back and forth process, and you can store some information. The developer will store some information on the browser like as a cookies, and they can show the information very immediately, and they don't have to you like wait for the uh, response from the server. But if you're really creating a kind of huge application where there might be a fraction of seconds, maybe a 30 seconds of sorry 40 seconds of time will take to like get the response from the server, then user might get bored because like let's say for example in a TikTok, if the video is dull for 2 seconds or 3 seconds, they then user doesn't want to like stay on a TikTok video. Likewise, in computer applications or websites or any applications, user doesn't want to spend more than a 3 to 5 seconds. Within that second, that you have to grab their attention and that you have to hold them. And at the same time, for example, you are working with a server and they have to wait for the more than 30 seconds. Obviously, they don't want to use your application. How good it is, how good functionality is, it doesn't care. Okay, everything that you follow the UX like UI design principle, and you follow all the UI UX design process also, and you think you create that beautiful app, but still it won't work in real scenario because you are not understanding the user experience. So first try to understand the user experience and try to play with your word and the screen so that you can give a kind of information. For example, maybe user are, like in doing any inputs on data fields, then you can simply write, wow, thank you for like achieving one level, now we are moving towards the second level, that you have to fill this. And maybe on second screen that you can give in a different, okay, you are doing great, and now almost we are end of the like session, because obviously there is another page that user have to fill. Okay, so by the providing such kind of content, okay, you are doing great and we are almost end of our process, that means user might feel, okay, we are very in towards the what do you call in fulfilled, I don't have to input now more data, so they feel a little bit relaxed. And on the last or maybe second screen, okay, we have done a phenomenal job, and this is the last screen, or this is the last but not the least kind of word or formation that you can use such kind of word and screen, and you can play some kind of animation or emoji, not like as a social media emoji like in WhatsApp, but kind of GIF type of information. Okay, so that you can play with those kind of simple clips, and then you can illustrate your ideas on the screen so that user find very interactive with your screen or user interface, so that they can feel it and they can really enjoy the process throughout all the process. So likewise, you have to think, see, if you see on the real market, okay, so it's simple, and at the same time it's complex also. There are so many applications already around with us, and some are doing very phenomenal job, and some are like lost somewhere and we didn't even hear some any application. And few years back, I think few years or few months back, there was one app that actually what do you call take our picture and show the like uh, two different phases, like one young and I think that was the old age. Like the application is very what you called exactly the depicting the future of the old age. And some there was some rumor, and because of that I think the application is goes down now, very less people use, or I don't know whether it is available on the Play Store or not, so I haven't checked. Maybe you have, did you? I don't know. Okay, anyway, so these are the things that comes, or these are the things that we are seeing in the real world. And you are jumping into the UX UI designer, and it's not that easy to like fight in the market. Okay, so you have to prepare by yourself, and you can stand and you can build something in the field of that UX UI designer. Okay, you don't have to afraid, but still you have to afraid to fight with the many people. And as my own experience that I was like doing as a UX UI designer back in my country, when I enter into the international market, I find quite difficult in first few months to like fight with the people and try to understand the working culture and try to understand the environment. Okay, we know that tools is everything. Everything is related with the tools, but we need to develop the mindset also. We need to understand the like local environment, how it's actually running. Okay, so it's quite vast different than in local areas. In the international market, there is a huge different product, okay, and a project. And maybe if there are same project, then the education things are very different, so that you can get a little bit confused. But obviously you are learning, and there are very while learning, very common to feel that you need to learn many more. Still I believe and I try to learn. Okay, still I feel that I don't have good knowledge, and I try to learn day by day. Anyway, I think these are the things that basically I wanted to share. There are no any technical things that I need to talk. And let me no, I don't want to talk about the typography today. Maybe if you come up with some screen, then we can talk on tomorrow. Otherwise, I think so. Yes, I mean, I will ask you if you will bring some screen, then we will continue the same class. Otherwise, I will end here this class. What do you think? Will you be able to bring some screen?
Right now, sir?
No, no, not right now, not right now. Tomorrow, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh,
For tomorrow, I'll make a screen.
no, okay, then at least try to build some kind of like, let's say 3 to 4, at least, so that we can discuss, and I can see how, like, what is your progress and how you are doing. So but at least we can see the things, and we can, maybe if I able to share some or if I able to give you some advice, then it will be helpful for you. Okay, at least try to make 3 to 4 screen or more than that.
Okay, sir, sure.
Okay, and yeah, I think I will end up this class for today's. And if we share some screen for tomorrow, then we can, what do you call, end. I think I will end this whole class tomorrow. Okay, if you bring some
Okay, sir.
screen. Okay, and thank you for your time, and thank you for like everything. And okay, till the last. Okay, and well. I will stop the screen, and then we will talk. Okay, just stay here. Okay, I will stop the screen here. I want to talk. I don't want to record those things.
Okay.
Okay.